Hey there, my fellow arborists, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, Episode 92, Fruit Tree Cuttings. Alright, new priority right now is to make some more charcoal. So what ends up happening is this is a multi-day process. It takes a very long time to cook, essentially. And what we're going to need to do is to regularly refuel the charcoal source that is underneath. Because if we don't, the process will stall out. So that's why I needed additional charcoal, because this charcoal burns and will need to be replenished. The other thing is I did just donate my lantern to the furnace area. So you guys are going to have the opportunity to vote whether or not I make more lanterns. But just know that I'm going to retrieve the lantern that I have, and then part of my base will go dark as a result. I think I'm just going to make some porridge. Spelt porridge. Oops. There we go. Well, let's go ahead and cut down some trees. So I don't really have any wood in the base right now. What time of day is it? Okay, it's gonna get light soon. Soon-ish. And I figured I might as well wander over towards my animal trap. Not that I think it will. I will have trapped anything. Ooh, chunk loading. Ah, there we go. I'd initially set it up where I thought, chickens lived, but I don't really think there's many chickens that live where I built it. There will be an opportunity to vote whether or not I continue to animal domesticate once the charcoal's done. Yeah. And I'm also picking up granite stones and random flint that I find, so I can chop the firewood out using up a nicer axe. I do have 2 meteoric axes besides this one, though, so that's a lot of durability. I didn't bring shears, but I'm just here for charcoal this time around. So while I work on this, how about you guys vote for the next project? So let me move that out of the way. There it goes. So feel free to voice your opinions. Now's the chance. Normally in this series I say no backseating. If I ask for tips and things like that, that's fine. But this is the input that you get. This is a big walnut, which is nice. Lots of firewood in this one. Need to find more trees like that. Oh, that is a giant tree too. I even got a walnut seed up that. This is a... oh. The thing is, it's an oak. I think at this point, like, we have a lot of leather. I don't think it's necessary to reserve so much oak for tannin, because the amount of leather we have is pretty comfortable. Niels Clark, Hydrangea and Stickiest, thank you for the resubs, by the way. I should have brought a spare axe. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I really should have brought a spare axe. So we cut down part of the tree. What this tree was too much for our axe. It's also too much for my inventory, I think. No, I still have space. Alright, tree, you win this round. I'll be back. Back to finish you off. There's like pieces falling off the tree. So it's just southeast of the base. That's not too hard to navigate back to. But I think I have all the wood that I would need to make a batch. Some trees can grow 2x2, like oaks, redwoods. I think even walnuts maybe can go 2x2. I don't know the full list by heart. That looks pretty cool from a distance, doesn't it? I mean, I think I need like pillars, but seeing that glow from a distance is kind of cool. You know what? I'm going to need to put some of this wood away. Because the rest of that oak tree might, very well might, fill up the remainder of my inventory. Now let's finish the job. The ambient temperature is cold enough that I'm really not concerned with the food I just cooked spoiling, because it's super cold in my base. Everywhere is essentially a refrigerator when it's negative 13 Celsius out. Yeah. I wonder if any animals have... Oh! Ha You know, I actually feel bad now. Please leave. Yeah, I'm sorry for trapping you. Okay, you are not smart foxes. Leave now. Come on. Get out of my pit. Out. It's not for foxes. No, don't fall back in. If you fall back in, I'm just doing Darwin's work. In fact, one of you might have already died in here. Yep. I will leave this pit open, because I don't need, I'm not working on animal domestication right now, so... And closed some of it. Alright, back to the mega tree. And next task that you guys want me to work on is potentially a tree farm. I'd mentioned this before, so I'll talk a little bit about it as I cut down this oak. So the way that there's essentially two types of fruit trees, and let me hide this pole. There's essentially two types of fruit trees. Updating the priority. So you have the sort of like tropical ones, like oranges, and then the, oh my god, the non-tropical ones, like pears and apples, stuff like that. And the types of trees that I'm going to be planting here are going to be the non-tropical ones, because I don't live in the tropics, and the tropical trees wouldn't survive in my biome anyway. And the way it works in game is very much like the way it works IRL, where you take you essentially cut down a fruit tree, and then it generates cuttings, and you can do one of two things with those cuttings. You can graft it onto other fruit trees with a 50-50 chance of the grafting surviving, or you can plant a new fruit tree. And if you plant a new fruit tree, it has a 40% chance to survive. So probably what I'll end up doing for the fruit tree growing is to attempt to... I'll create sort of a designated area for the fruit trees. And then once I have said designated area, I will put multiple grafting down, because I don't expect that the... You know, I don't want to leave it up to... I mean, I have to leave it up to chance, but I want to increase my chances by putting a bunch of graftings down. The other thing is that fruit trees require a very specific temperature for them to take root anyway, which is... I wonder if there's a guide about fertilization. So fruit trees can be found throughout the world in virtually all climates. Different climates have different types of trees. Not all fruit trees can survive in all climates. Fruit trees start small, but over time, a long time period, will get very large, bit by bit. They do not instantly grow to mature like regular trees. They will only bear fruit once a year, and this time will vary by the type. They will go through stages of flowering, fruit bearing, and fruit ripening. Trees of temperate climates go through a dormancy period where they have no leaves, which it would be now, right, the winter. You can propagate fruit trees by removing a branch to get a cutting, and then planting the cutting on dirt, or placing the cutting onto a cut branch stub of another fruit tree. Only a portion of the planted cuttings will succeed, 50%, and even smaller for grafting, 40%. So if you take a look at, like, let's say pear, a pear tree cutting takes 250 in-game hours below 2 Celsius in the cold season to bear fruit the following year, but will also die if exposed to -28°C or colder. Values are averages. They can vary slightly for each tree, and of course it produces fruit. So the idea here is that once maybe the coldest part of the winter is done, I can take a bunch of pear tree cuttings, or just any tree cuttings that would survive in my climate, and plant them in places where if they do take root and survive the grafting process or the planting process, then I create a greenhouse around them to raise the temperature up. I believe greenhouses for fruit trees only work for vernalization, though. So essentially what happens is the tree needs to be around, like, below 2 Celsius, but not so close to the freezing death temperature, and then warm up to take root. So it isn't, for me growing fruit trees, it's going to be a multi-day, a long process. It's not something you do overnight. It is a long, lengthy investment of time. And trees are 5x5, at the fruit trees, at least, at the widest. So if you have one in the middle, it'll be 2 out in every direction. So a fruit tree farm would be a 5x5 by... I forget how tall they get. Hold on 1 second. They get pretty tall. I could go 5x5 by 14. And the other thing is, like, I probably would want a 7x7 fruit tree farm anyway. Because if I build a 5x5 one, I won't have access to all the leaves to pick the fruit. Because the farm itself, it will just be like canopy. And I won't be able to, like, get around, with ladders to climb up to the tree. So they can be 6 blocks tall. So we want like a 5x5 by 7 or something like that. But I wouldn't be building the actual greenhouse initially. Because there's no point in building a greenhouse unless the grafting survives. So I would just be building the area that we're going to plant the trees. And if they do survive, then I can actually work on the greenhouse. Because there's not much point in investing in, investing in greenhouses for trees that are dead. That sounds like a utter waste of time. So I'm just building some flint axe heads so I can chop up my firewood without wasting my lovely axes. But I do... come on. I do believe that we have tons and tons and tons of firewood. I might even have enough wood for 2 full batches of charcoal, which is great. Because that's going to keep us from needing to run back out into the woods, cut down more trees. Not exactly sure how many axes I'm going to need, but there's really nothing else I make with flint other than firewood axes, so doesn't hurt to just crank out a whole bunch of axe blades. I am the napping master. Oh, I already have 6 sticks. I need 7 total. Oh, that's weird. They only stack up to 4. I didn't know that. So I think we already have a lot of oak upstairs. The reason I mention that is, like, oak is used for tannins for leather making. But because we already have a ton of oak, I don't think it's all that important that we, like, have more. But let me double check. Yeah, so we have 16 here. I'll put 32. 32 is a lot of dedicated oak for tannins. Because the thing is, we already have like a stack, or more than a stack and a half of leather, so it's not something I'm that I need to treat as precious. Oak, that is. All right, let's get this loaded up. And as I've said before, what is most important is that you have no empty space. That each voxel section is 100% full of firewood with no voids. Those voids will make your fire burn and not actually yield you any lovely charcoal, which would be devastating given the effort involved. Oh, let's do this one first. Oh, no, it's not right. Okay, cool. That part's done. I have lots of extra wood. So we've got walnut in here. I'm basically out of space. Grabbing the pieces of granite cobblestone that I need to be able to finish enclosing. Now it's enclosed. I just need to set a little fire up top. I might not have dry grass. I'm also nearly out of space. I'm basically out of space for my little tools. Oh, there was already a knife there. Oh, I forgot I had an iron knife. I should probably be using up the iron knife instead of the tin knife. Bronze tin. How big you make a charcoal pit? I'm not sure. Big, like something like 14 by 14 by 14. Don't quote me on that, but you can have massive mega burns if you really want. All right, and lit. And enclosed. So that will be another batch of charcoal soon. Yeah, unnecessarily big is a pretty good answer there. I will carry I'll carry the meteoric axe as like an everyday tool. Max size uses greater than 10k logs. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Checking up on steel, 6% complete. Gives you an idea of time. And then as you can see, the charcoal has burned down about, well, 5/16, which is why we need more charcoal to feed it, to make sure it does not run out of fuel. So I just topped it up. Now, one thing you can do, which I might have you guys decide at some point, is you can decide to sleep in order to accelerate the process. So like right before, during night time, you can sleep. And because I have an age wooden bed, which is allows you to sleep the longest, that would pass 9.5 hours, allowing me to functionally skip a whole lot of the wait time. But I do have a new project right now. So the concept I had for this new project is to put doors here on the 3 cardinal directions, and to have like a tree planter out that way. Because nothing really in this room is all that temperature sensitive, it doesn't really matter if I knock these walls out. Because the bees are already dormant. So it's going to look like this door. So the question for you guys is, how many tree plots to prepare? So I can do 3 or I'm going to type these out, 3 or 6. But of course you're voting 1 or 2. So I can either have this each one go out to a single tree plot or split into 2 tree plots. I don't care which one. I just want you guys to decide. So what I'm going to do right now is to collect fruit trees so that I actually have something to plant while you vote on this. So you can vote on it for a while. It doesn't really matter how long that's up. But because I'm leaving my base for a while, let's go ahead and grab all of our food. So I have marked down some fruit trees, and not all fruit, well, most of the fruit trees I'm going to find in the climate that I live in are appropriate for me to try to plant. They were likely not to die due to cold temperatures in the winter, because otherwise they wouldn't really exist in this biome. My point is, like, I should analyze each and every tree that I'm putting in to make sure that, yeah, it has a fair chance to survive. Did I end up getting the flax here? I'm also just trying to clear out point of interest markers that I don't need anymore. So fruit trees, even during its dormancy period, will look a bit different than regular trees because they are skinnier. Their trunks, allowing you to identify them if you know what you're looking for. Oh, these are all probably the foxes I freed. Maybe. But, chat, I know I said no backseating, but if you do happen to find a fruit tree that I'm walking past and you think I should probably pay attention to it, feel free to yell at me, because they can be tricky to spot. But this is what one will look like during the winter. So this is a dormant and vernalized fruit tree, meaning that it would bud otherwise. Do I need shears? I know I can just cut the bottom. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the bottom. What's weird is, like, parts of it are mature and parts of it aren't. So I got 3 cuttings from it, and, you know, some firewood. But, all right. Leaving that pair. Or else I identified fruit trees. The other high possibility is that because I did the map re-rendering a few streams ago, it's very possible that fruit trees that I have found in the past no longer exist. There's a very non-zero chance of that. So I might run up to any of these markers here and find no tree. And it's just because that part of the map has been brought up to version 1.19 because this world was generated in 1.18. The other thing I suppose I could poll on is maybe not using the apiary. I mean, there's a fair argument to be made that like just planting fruit trees around my base is obviously easier if I put them somewhere like an aesthetically pleasing spot. And then if they do take root, then just building a glassed greenhouse up around them. That'd be definitely the cheapest way to do it. Yeah, the regen giveth and the regen taketh. I did mark down that this was historically a good place for sheep. Don't see a ton of animals here though anymore. What is winter? And some surface copper. Shouldn't affect the chunks already? No, that's not how it works. It deletes every chunk that hasn't been modified by the player. I did a map pruning. Oh, there's pear trees here, though. So I've got 6 cuttings, which is good, because you guys voted for me to do 6 of them. So, map... Oh, hello. Sorry to do this, because I probably won't even get fat from you. The way the map printing worked... And there's different setups for it, but it's described in the update here, I think. Is that any map tile, any chunk rather, that I hadn't modified more than 10 blocks, meaning dug or placed stone, was deleted and then regenerated with 1.19 terrain generation. So any of those tiles, if they had Terra Preta, would no longer have Terra Preta, for instance, because Terra Preta doesn't form naturally anymore in 1.19. It's only crafted. And then the reason I did that is so that I could start finding things like Thule, which is a new crop that you can harvest, a new grass, kind of like cattails that you can harvest for roofing, and then also finding the new animals, deer and goats, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to. And then finding new ruin styles, the micro block ruins. So if I ever happen upon micro block ruins or deer or goat or Thule, I know that I'm in an area that is 1.19, because 1.18 tiles would not have goats, deer, or Thule, or ruined microblocks. And in my Discord server, I have the command that I actually used pinned, so that if you have a 1.18 or earlier save file, you can do the map regen yourself as well. It's very handy, you know, especially if you have a significant amount of the area around your base already explored, but not really modified. You would have to travel very far, and that was the case with me. It's like, as you can see, I've done a lot of exploring. I would have to travel for like an hour to get anywhere novel. Maybe not an hour, but like half an hour in every direction I've probably gone. All right, I was grabbing some copper here because I'm gonna want more lanterns eventually, and I was like, there's surface copper here, I might as well grab it. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. It's gonna save me a trip because inevitably I'm gonna want to make those lanterns because it's annoying to have dark spots in the base that spawn drifters outside of temporal storms. Is that counting picking up flint? No, I don't believe so. Picking up sticks or flint is not modifying. That would be... So it counts things like mining or placing things down. Like actually changing voxels. Not just picking junk off the ground. So, you know, areas that you had gone to dig up, like meteoric iron, for instance, because meteoric iron usually requires removal of more than like 10 blocks, would probably not regenerate, as an example. Or if you dig up ruins for cracked vessels, or vessels rather, you know, very likely you removed more than 10 blocks if you also get bony soil and all that. Like, so it also depends on the settings that you have. So I set mine at 10. I said that, you know, the threshold is 10. So anything that I've modified greater than 10, leave alone. Less than 10, feel free to nuke. But you can set the threshold at 100, you know, if you wanted to, and it would probably nuke just about everything but your base or mining shafts that you've created. Or if you want to be really careful, you can set it at like 1. So it's only chunks that are essentially unmodified. The command lets you do either or. So the other follow-up question is, where should I plant fruit trees? Around the perimeter of the base or attached to the apiary or attached to the farms, or other viewer suggestions. Maybe you have a better idea. So around the perimeter of the base obviously is the easiest. I would just be planting fruit trees wherever. And then if any of them took root, I could even leave them open or just fence them off so that raccoons can't like mess with them or whatever. Or I could greenhouse them. I don't think that fruit trees really benefit, other than fertilization, they don't really benefit from greenhousing. Meaning that like there's not too much of an advantage to actually build greenhouses on them, but I can do it if that's something that you'd want to see anyway. I don't really care about if it makes sense or not. Wow. All right. That's unique. It's like, what ore is here? Nothing. Never mine here. You'll never find anything. All right. I'm done chasing the last trace of copper here. Oh, okay. Hello. Actually, I'll do one more chunk search just to make sure there's nothing in this area. Also, my character's... Oh, yeah, hello. Character's getting cold, so be good to get home. I'm getting it's negative 20. Yeah, and I haven't been around a fire in a while. Oh great, all the medium fertility soil I threw away, I just happened to pick right back up. Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty decent amount of copper now for lanterns. So what I'll probably end up doing is just put Huh, I can see the windmills from here. I'll probably end up putting like 2 high wooden fences around where the trees are going to go. Because if I am not mistaken, I think raccoons mostly just mess with apiaries and not fruit trees. I don't think they're raccoons threaten fruit trees, but I'd rather fence them off anyway. If anything, as a clear indicator of like, I put a fruit tree here. So there was surface copper here. Oh boy. Terrain. Making me cliff jump. Yeah, this is the type of terrain that I live near. I'm in the like weird pit hole terrain. That's southeast of my base. Oh, I should be clear of it any second now, though. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story, which originally streamed live on Twitch, February 15th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that for this series I've asked for no backseating, so if you could respect that, that would be great. If you would like to join a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.